Where's the line between what we can see, test, and prove, and what only feels real? Science can predict the trajectory of planets, but it still can't explain why anything is conscious. Stick around because we're about to break down how science lays the bricks of knowledge and philosophy builds the frame around it. This is where curiosity meets truth. For centuries, humanity has chased the same burning questions. What is the universe? What am I? Why does anything exist at all? Two powerful players step onto this stage. Science, the relentless seeker of evidence, measurement, and prediction. Philosophy, the sharp mind asking why when no experiment can. They can seem like opposite teams, but they're both players in the same epic game, understanding reality. Here's why this matters. When science and philosophy don't align, we risk misreading the world around us, oversimplifying consciousness, or even mistaking opinion for fact. By the end of this video, you'll know why these two fields often clash, how they overlap, and whether they can actually meet in the middle. If you're still with me, hit like and share. It says you want more brain-stretching stuff like this. So how do these two giants actually work? Let's break it down. Science is all about evidence. It wants what it can measure, test, and repeat. It's model-based, predictive, and builds its universe brick by empirical brick. Think of Newton calculating gravity, or Einstein predicting the bending of light. But here's the kicker. Science never claims final truth. Every brick can be replaced. Theories evolve, and even the most solid facts are always open to revision. Knowledge here is truth-likeness, getting closer, but never quite finished. Philosophy, on the other hand, steps into the spaces science can't yet touch. It ventures into the realms of why just as much as how. It asks, why does the apple fall? What does existence even mean? What is consciousness, and why does it feel like something to be you? No lab coat required. Philosophers use logic, reason, and some wild thought experiments to wrestle with questions you can't just plug into a formula. And here's where sparks really fly. Materialism says your mind is just brain matter firing away. Dualism says that's not enough. You're missing the raw feel of being conscious. David Chalmers calls this the hard problem of consciousness. Daniel Dennett says consciousness might just be an elaborate illusion. Between them, a gap, a mysterious space where we're still searching for answers. So can that gap ever be closed? Can philosophy sharpen science, or slow it down? And could science ever track down the soul, or at least something like it? Before we dive into that, I am really thankful you are here with me on this big journey of exploring life's biggest questions. Your support truly means the world to me. If you're enjoying this content, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and don't forget to like and share. It helps this community grow. Thank you so much. There is no better example of the tension and teamwork between science and philosophy than the debate over consciousness. Scientists, particularly neuroscientists, have made incredible strides in understanding the brain. Using fMRI scanners, EEG machines, they can map the intricate neural activity that corresponds to our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. This is what David Chalmers calls the easy problems of consciousness. Not because they're actually easy, but because they are, in principle, solvable by science. But then there's the hard problem of consciousness. This is the question of why we have subjective experience at all. Why is there an inner movie? Colors, sounds, emotions, thoughts? Why don't we just process information like a computer, without any inner awareness? Science can show us the correlates of consciousness, the brain activity that goes along with it, but it can't explain why that brain activity should be accompanied by the feeling of seeing red or the taste of chocolate. It's a gap between the physical processes and the subjective experience. The materialist or physicalist view suggests that everything, including consciousness, is ultimately physical. The mind is what the brain does. From this perspective, the hard problem is a temporary illusion. Once neuroscience is advanced enough, we'll explain subjective experience in brain terms. But many philosophers and even some scientists are not convinced. You could know every physical fact about a bat's brain and still never know what it feels like to be a bat. That subjective what it's like quality seems to be something more than just physical information. This debate is a perfect showcase of science and philosophy working together, even when they disagree. Despite their different methods, science and philosophy share a foundational commitment to one critical tool: logic. You simply cannot do good science or good philosophy without it. Logic is the rulebook for correct reasoning. It's what allows us to move from evidence and premises to sound conclusions. A scientist designing an experiment uses deductive logic to make predictions from their hypothesis. For instance, if my hypothesis is true, then I should observe this specific outcome. They also use inductive logic to generalize from results to broader theories, moving from specific observations to a general principle. For philosophers, logic is the air they breathe. The entire discipline of formal logic was developed by philosophers to analyze arguments. They use symbols and precise rules, formal proofs and flowcharts, to make their case. When a philosopher critiques an idea, they're often looking for logical fallacies, straw man, false dilemma, and others. Think about Galileo. He used observational evidence from his telescope and powerful logical arguments to counter established views. Darwin's On the Origin of Species was not just a catalogue of evidence, it was one long, masterful argument. This shared reliance on logic means science and philosophy can, and should, keep each other honest. So, can science and philosophy ever agree? The surprising answer, they already do, at least on some big fundamentals. They agree that the universe is, at least in part, knowable. They agree that reason and evidence matter. And they agree that we should never stop asking questions. Their relationship isn't about one final universal truth. It's a dialogue, a back and forth that never ends. Philosophy raises the questions, science tries to answer them. Those answers spark even deeper philosophical questions. It's a beautiful, self-perpetuating engine of human knowledge. Take ethics. For millennia, philosophers debated, what's a good life? What makes a society just? Today, science adds fascinating layers. Neuroscience uncovers the biological roots of empathy. Evolutionary psychology explores why we developed a moral sense. Science doesn't replace philosophy here, it enriches it, giving philosophers new foundations to build on. A world with only science might be technically brilliant, but empty of meaning. A world with only philosophy might be profound, but disconnected from reality. The greatest thinkers, Aristotle, Newton, didn't draw hard lines. They used the full toolkit. So the next time you're pondering one of life's big questions, don't choose sides. Be both scientist and philosopher. Now I want to hear from you. Which big question should science tackle next, and which should philosophy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this dive into the battle and harmony between science and philosophy, hit subscribe to join me here at Chasing Sunsets 49, turn on that notification bell, and like and share this video. It means the world to me. This channel is where curiosity meets truth, and I post one long video and 2 shorts every week, so there's always something new to explore. Bye and take care.